Hello everyone, my name is Arthur Morris and welcome to How to Find the Slope of a Line When You're Given 2 Points. Okay, the slope is the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change. When you see the slope in any general equation, it will be represented by the variable m. It also means rise over run. Again, you see vertical in rise and run is the horizontal change, or the change in the y coordinates over the change in the x coordinates. So when you're given 2 points on a line, you can find the slope of a line. And the slope of the line, when you see the slope of a line, you can determine whether the line rises as you go from left to right or falls as you go from left to right. So if you have a positive slope like positive 2/3 or positive 1/2 or positive 1, then the line will rise as you go from left to right on the graph. If you have a negative slope, like negative 1/2 or negative 2 or negative 4, then the line will fall as you go from left to right on the graph. If you have a horizontal line, such as y equals negative 5, then your slope is 0. So the slope is 0 for any horizontal line. Any y equals a number type of graph, your slope is 0. If you have a vertical line or x equals a number, such as x equals 5 or x equals negative 3, then the slope is undefined. So again, the slope is undefined for any vertical line or any x equals a number type of graph. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples of how to find the slope when we are given 2 points. So we want to find the slope of the line that passes through the given points by using the slope formula of y2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So it doesn't matter how you label the points. My points are in this order, 3, 2, 8, 11. So I'm going to label my coordinates of the first point, x sub 1 and y sub 1. And then the second point that I have here, I will label that x sub 2 and y sub 2. Now I simply take those points, place them into my fraction here, and simplify. So the difference of the y coordinates, 11 minus 2, over the difference of the x coordinates, 8 minus 3. And then simplify. 11 minus 2 is 9. 8 minus 3 is 5. So my slope is 9 over 5, which is a positive slope, so that tells me that that line goes up or increases as we go from left to right. Okay, so let's look at this example. Same process. Label your coordinates. This is my first point. That's why I'm calling it x sub 1 and y sub 1. This is the second point that I have listed, so I'm calling it x sub 2 and y sub 2. So you can label your points and then just plug them into the formula. You will subtract the y coordinates. So negative 4 minus negative 6 over, then subtract the x coordinates for your denominator, 4 minus negative 2. So negative 4 minus negative 6 over 4 minus 2. Now remember, minus a negative makes plus. So I have negative 4 plus 6 over 4 plus 2. Negative 4 plus 6 is simply 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Remember to simplify your fractions. 2 will go into both of those numbers, so I end up with 1/3. Okay, let's look at a couple more examples. Okay, so same process. We're given the point negative 2, 4 and the point 3, 4, and we know that a line goes through those 2 points, and we want to find the slope of that particular line. So the same process, we will subtract the y coordinates, our vertical change, for the numerator, 4 minus 4, and we will subtract the x coordinates for our denominator, 3 minus negative 2. So again, we know that minus a negative is plus. So 4 minus 4 is 0. 3 plus 2 is 5. However, 0 divided by anything else but itself is simply 0. So with this having a slope of 0, I know that this represents a horizontal line, the slope of a horizontal line. And I can determine my equation just by looking at my y coordinates. My equation for that line, if I wanted to know, would be y equals 4, which is a horizontal line. Okay, let's take a look at this last problem here. We have negative 8, negative 6, and negative 8 and positive 7. So, label our points. Plug them in. 7 minus negative 6. Negative 8 minus negative 8. Minus a negative, we know makes plus. So 7 plus 6. Negative 8 plus 8. 7 plus 6, 13. Negative 8 plus 8, 0. And we know that anything divided by 0, except itself, is undefined. So the slope for this one is undefined. Again, this is one of those special slopes which I know goes with the graph of a vertical line. And if I just look at my x-coordinates, I can determine the equation for that particular line. The equation for this line would be x equals negative 8. However, my slope is undefined. Okay, I hope you found that video to be helpful. Thank you.